Hey class, now in this video let's finish chapter 19, the balance scorecard, quality and time. And in this chapter we're still focused on balance scorecard, but now we're using the balance scorecard frame to analyze quality analysis and some time-based business operations process. Okay, so remember we're still using balance scorecard framework, but we're focusing on some other part of company's operations. All right, the business operations. Now let's get started. Okay, so in this chapter, okay, quality, what is quality, right? So quality is the total features and characteristics of a product or service made or performed according to specification to satisfy customers at the time of purchase and during use. Okay, so for example, and you go to Apple store and you want to buy an iPad. Okay, you want to buy an iPad, and when you get into the store and you play with the new iPad for a little while, and you see that okay, it has all the features that I need. Okay, so and it feels sturdy. Okay, and it feels really good, right? And also the presentation is very good. Okay, it's beautiful, right? So you think, okay, I'm gonna buy that. Okay, so but you don't really know the all performance of the iPad until you use it for a while. Does that make sense? So when it's come to the time you purchase it, okay, you feel like okay, they satisfy all your need at the moment of purchase. Okay, that is okay. All right, that is fine. Okay, but going back and then go back to your home and you start using your iPad and doesn't have any problems. The operation is very smooth, and you have all the softwares or applications available in the App Store. Okay, and you can use it for your school and for your personal entertainment activities. All these things, okay, they satisfied every need you have, and also you expect to use that for like 1 year or 2 years, but actually it lasted for like 10 years. So it is a good quality, right? It is a good quality. And on the other hand, if you, let's say you're buying a piece of software for tax report, filing taxes, okay, personal tax, okay, and you compare all the available tax reporting, tax filing softwares on the internet, and you see all the advantages and disadvantages, and you finally find one piece of software that fits your needs, okay, that fits your need, and you pay like $200 or $100 to purchase that piece of software. Okay, you're satisfied with that when at the time of your purchase, right? But once you install that software and you open it up, the first time you open it up, and the user interface is so confusing, you don't really know where you should even start with. And then after you finally figure out how to use that and type in your information, and all of a sudden the software exits out itself, okay, and with no information is saved in the software, and it started pissing you off, right? So, and you restart it up again, and then upload your information and continuing type in your information, and then it crashed again. Okay, so it's so frustrated. Okay, it's so frustrating, and that even though it satisfies your need at the time of purchase, but during the use, really you find it's so inconvenient to use that type of software, then it still is not a good quality. Does that make sense? So it is a definition of quality. It not only has to meet the satisfaction of customers at the time when they purchase the product, but also later on along the usage, it also needs to satisfy all kinds of the customer's needs with that specific product or service. All right. So when a company really focusing on the quality of products, we find several things. First is that they really put in the expertise in improving product quality. And second, they usually have focus on reducing the cost and improving quality. And the third is they really have a higher customer satisfaction. Okay, have a higher customer satisfaction rate. Okay, and all these things eventually it comes down one ultimate performance results, which is a higher income. okay, a higher income, a profitability. All right, so in any companies that focus on improving quality of their products or services, eventually they have these features, okay, and future profitability will increase. Okay, so and quality is as a competitive tools. Okay, companies are also using quality management and measurement practices to find cost-effective ways to reduce the environmental and economic costs of air pollution, wastewater, oil spills, and hazard waste disposal. And quality can also be an important engine for environmental process. So now we're talking about sustainability or corporate social responsibilities, right? When we are producing those products, those high quality products, we do not want to damage our environment. We do not want to sacrifice our environment as the driver to improve our profitabilities. Okay, so if by improving qualities, we can also find some potentials to do some benefits to our environments. Okay, so this is what this qualities as a competitive tools speaking. And what it means from another perspective is that now people are really concerned about environmental factors. Okay, so does this company adversely affect the environment from their business operations, or are they contributing to benefit the society or community, or making the world a better place, so to speak? Okay, so if companies are doing that sort of thing through the quality control process, not only the quality control process, but every single process that can contribute to their corporate social responsibilities, then it really sets a good reputation on the market, okay, or in the society, that people are really seeing more interest in becoming loyalty to that type of company or brand or product, okay, so to speak. And there are two basic aspects of quality. So anything that we're talking about here, that is, you're starting to realize that we start with some really general terms, and then we start to break it down to look at the more detailed level and to see, to pinpoint different aspects of one specific thing, right? So we have two aspects of qualities here. First is design quality, which refers to how closely the characteristics of a product or service meet the needs or wants of customers. So that is design quality, customer satisfaction, and design specifications. Do we have consistency between these two things? Okay, if we are not having a consistency, or even our design specifications doesn't meet customer satisfaction at all, we have a design quality failure. Okay, we have a design quality failure. That means our design, our product features don't satisfy customers' needs at all. Okay, so then it means there is a low quality product. Even there's no quality in that product at all. Okay, that makes sense? Because when we are buying products, we are going to use, or we want to use that product to help us to finish some job, right? To finish some work. And then that means they have to have some functionality. But by our design, if it's a really poor design, by our design, we cannot really help customers to achieve any of their performance targets, then it is not a useful product, and the design is a failure. So there is, from design perspective, the quality is a failure, right? And the second one is conformance quality, which refers to the performance of a product or service related to its design and product specification. Okay, so now we don't have design quality failures, which means our product design perfectly overlap with customers' needs. Okay, we have 100% overlap. Okay, overlap. They are exactly the same. Okay, we can perfectly predict what customers needs, and we design that into our products. Okay, so this is what a good design quality is. And after that, all after that, we have to see if the actual performance of a product, does that really match what we want the products needs to perform. Okay, needs to perform. Okay, so for example, and also this conformance quality, when we talk about quality, it doesn't necessarily means we have to pay a huge amount of money to get that product or service, like thousands of dollars to buy a luxury car, or like say $1,000 to buy a smart pen or stylus. Okay, it doesn't mean that. What it means, conformance quality, is really as long as the quality meets customers' needs for customers' use, then it is a good quality. It is a good quality. All right. So for example, an iPad, right? You paid $1,000 for an iPad, and it satisfied every single needs of you, and it's a good quality. And also, if you need a pencil to take an exam, you simply can go to Walmart, right? And it costs you like probably $1 or $2 to get a pencil, right? And you expect to use that pencil just for that exam, right? Just for that exam. And after that, you didn't expect that the pencil could last long, like for a lifelong period of time, right? So, but at the end of the day, after you take an exam, and the pencil is still going to be used for the rest of the semester, or even next year. And in terms of that, features or factor, you think of that. Okay, I thought I could have just used it for one single test, but it end up with using that for a whole nother year, right? So it also indicates a good quality, because it's not only satisfied our customers' needs, but also the quality of the product or the features of the products is really beyond the satisfaction of the customer's needs. Does that make sense? So conformance quality, so it talks about quality. It really doesn't mean that it have to be an expensive product. It can be any kind of products, as long as it satisfies the customer's needs and it is a good conformance quality. All right. So quality has both financial and non-financial components relating to customer satisfaction, improving internal quality process, reducing defects, and training and empowering of workers. So basically, quality, now we are looking at 4 perspectives in terms of balance scorecard, and to see how we can measure our quality, right? How we can measure our quality. And from 4 perspectives: financial perspective and non-financial perspective, and that includes customers perspective, internal business operations perspective, and learning and the growth perspective. All right. So in terms of quality perspective, financial perspective, right? The cost of quality. How do we measure the cost of quality? There are 4 economic measures, okay, monetary measures. First is prevention costs. What is prevention cost? Those are the costs incurred to prevent the production of products that do not conform to specifications. Okay, so it's kind of like upfront cost to make sure that products being produced that can pass through our quality control. Okay, and appraisal cost is the cost that incurred to detect which individual unit of products do not conform to specifications. After we produce the products, then have to go to quality control or inspection, so to speak, inspection process, and to test whether we have defective units or spoilage or wastes, right? And malfunctions. Okay, and third is internal failure costs, which are the costs incurred on defective units, products before they are shipped to customers. Okay, so which means that after this appraisal cost, the inspection process, we spot out several units that are defective. Okay, defects. Okay, there are defects. So do we just throw them away? No. If they are reworkable, we need to send them back to the factory and rework on this to fix the problem, right? So it costs additional dollars to fix the problem, to make it a perfect product, right? So that's internal failure. Why is internal failure? Because those are the defective during the manufacturing process, right? And it's not haven't been sent it to or sold to customer yet. So it is in the internal manufacturing process, and the costs incurred during that internal process. And the last one is external failure costs, which are the costs incurred on defective units, products after they are shipped to customers. Okay, so through the inspection process, and we spot out some defects, and there are some other defects that we are not able to identify during the inspection process, and it pass through the inspection stage and going to the final finished goods inventory, and then some customers caught up on or placed orders online, and our employees just pack it up and send it over to the customer. Okay, so and once the customers open it up and see that's a defect, okay, so then those costs incurred during that process called external failure cost, because we are not delivering a satisfying product to our customers. Okay, we're not delivering that satisfied products to our customers. So any costs associated with that will be external failure costs, like reducing the costs, reducing the price, or refunding the customers, or giving allowances, or giving more credits. Okay, so those costs are external failure costs. All right. So there, in terms of these four types of costs, we have we have some specific things under each one of these. Okay, so prevention costs, that includes design engineering, process engineering, supplier evaluation, prevention, equipment maintenance, quality training, testing of new materials. All these are the upfront costs that to ensure our manufacturing process will be functional as expected. Okay, as expected. Design engineer makes sure that the design doesn't have any flaws in the products, right? And the process engineer makes sure that our manufacturing process will run as smooth as possible. And suppliers evaluations means that we want to have a high quality suppliers that can constantly provide high quality materials to us, right? And preventive equipment maintenance, this we need to do maintenance work to make sure that our manufacturing machineries will run as appropriately, right? And quality training is we have to train our employees to understand what standards we are holding as high quality, right? And they have to be able to distinguish between high quality products and low quality products, and before we can actually produce any high quality products. And testing of new materials, we're always trying to provide high quality of materials, products using some new materials to reduce costs, to satisfy more needs of customers, right? So we need to try out some different new technologies, new materials. But before we can actually put all these new materials, new technologies inside of our product, we have to make sure those things are not hazard to our customers, okay? And at least they can satisfy the needs of customers, right? So those are the prevention costs. And appraisal cost is inspection, online production, manufacturing and processing inspection, and product testing. Basically, appraisal costs, all these three different terms. At the end of the day, it talks about inspection in general. Okay, inspection in general. Are the products we just finished fits our quality standards? Okay, meets our quality standards. If it does, it passes through this inspection stage. If it doesn't, then we have to send it back to rework. Okay, and all these costs, also these are not just for free, right? We have to hire people and purchase softwares, equipment for testing, right? So those are the inspection costs. And the internal failure cost is after this stage, we spot scraps, okay, defects, and we have to send it to rework, and all these things are internal failures. And then external failures customer support, manufacturing, engineering for external failures, and warranty repair costs and liability claims. It really harms the customers. You're going to walk into a lawsuit, okay, and it costs alarm and lag and alarms for the company. All right, so those are the external failure costs. And these are in general, okay? These are the general costs for these 4 different types, and you're gonna have more of these, okay? It's just general of these type of costs, okay? And determine cost of quality by adapting the 7-step activity-based cost approach. And we've been talking about a lot. A lot about activity-based costing and how do we implement our activity costing approach, identify the cost object, and then identify the most direct cost as most as possible, okay, and then identify the allocation base and cost of pools, and then calculate allocation rate for each cost of pools, and then compute allocation amount for each activity or each products, and then assign those costs into each products and add them up, which is the 7th step of implementation of activity-based approach. Okay, so you read this by yourself. Okay, you should be very familiar with this process. Okay, and cost of quality. Besides that, prevention costs, that internal failure cost, appraisal cost, external failure cost, we also have something called opportunity cost. What is the opportunity cost? Again, it is the potential benefit we are giving up by choosing one alternative over another, which means in this case, cost of quality is if we are not using those materials, those resources to put into those defect units, we could have used those resources to put making more perfect units or satisfied units, right? So when it's come to opportunity cost, we have several factors here. All right, what are those factors? If we produced some defective units and it's passed through the inspection stage and then delivered to the customer's hands, we are going to lose some contribution margins, right? Because we are going to refund them, or we are going to give them allowances, give them extra credits from our from our companies, right? And lost production, right? We could have used that time or efforts to produce one unit of perfect products, but now it's just the one unit of garbage, right? So we waste our time and other efforts. Okay, so another is lower prices. It's kind of tied back to the first point here, that we need to have some discounts to incentivize or at least to keep our customers in our network, right? So we could have sell it for full price, but now because it's defects, then we cannot sell it for full price. Okay, so those are the opportunity cost if we do not have a high quality of materials, and it also is the cost of our quality, and so to speak, it is the cost of low quality or poor quality products. All right, and again, opportunity costs are not actual cost; they are not incurred, not really happened, so you will not find them on any financial accounting system, or you not find them in any accounting systems. Okay, so you're not recorded. You have to calculate and use your judgments. Okay, and then now we're starting with the non-financial perspective for cost of quality. Okay, non-financial perspective for cost of quality. And first is customer perspective. Okay, so this customer's perspective, we're looking at market research information on customer preference for and customer satisfaction with specific product features. Okay, do we have offered enough features in our products, and what is our market shares? Okay, what is our market shares and percentage of high satisfied customers? Do we have 90% of customers that are really satisfied with our products, they're happy with our services, or we have just 0% that are really happy with our products or services, okay? And number of defective units shipped to customers as a percentage of total units shipped, okay? We last year sold or shipped 100 units product to our customers, and at the end of the day, we find out that 99% or 99 units out of 100 is defects, okay? And definitely, you're not gonna have a high customer satisfaction rate, right? And also that indicates you have a huge problem with your external failure costs, and also some internal failure costs, and also some appraisal costs, and also some prevention costs. Okay, all these 4 elements from your financial perspective all gonna involved here. And number of customer complaints, also it is non-financial, and really if the customers are really happy with our products, means they say, oh, your products are so perfect for my needs, okay? Do we need to change anything to satisfy them anymore? Not exactly, right? Not exactly. What are we focusing on here is those customers really don't think our products or services very much useful for them. So then we can we open up opportunity to increase the performance, or increase or adding into additional piece of features into our product to satisfy those unsatisfied customers. Okay, and sometimes because this is what companies focus on, and sometimes it really de-stress and really demotivate companies and really stress companies in terms of their strategies and performance. Because guess what? Those customers really complain about the products. Okay, so how we can find customers are not satisfied with our products or services, right? Most of the customers will post their feedback on their company's customer services website, or on their Amazon page of the products, right? Or writing to or posting their Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, all these public media, okay? Resources, those kind of things, and people are really companies are really focused on those things, okay? So but because they're focusing on these things, and sometimes they're so frustrated because they see all these negative feedback from customers, and they're starting to question or criticizing their products. Are we really providing a good product to our customers or not? And they are trying to switch or redesign their products based off on their negative needs, negative comments or complaints. However, sometimes it is very biased feedback. Why is that? Think of this, okay? Think of this. Do you think the happiest customer are willing to post their feedback on their company's feedback website, or do you think those really high unsatisfied customers, really angry customers will post their negative feedback on their website? Definitely those angry customers, right? It's just like very normal situation here, okay? So for me as instructor of this course, okay, I'm gonna have course evaluation from students' feedback, right? So do you think if it's not mandatory, or if you're using some online features, set of teaching evaluation, okay, so ask people to voluntarily fill this out, do you think the happiest students will fill it out? Do you think the most angry students will fill it out? Right? So most likely are those really students who are not like me, or who are really not happy with my teaching style, or who are not really happy with their course grade, will post those negative feedback on my teaching evaluation, right? So then based off on only that negative feedback, that will bias the performance of the company. Okay, that will bias the performance of the company. So not only need to focus on the customer's complaints, but also they need to jump out of that loop and to see their company's products or services as a whole picture, okay, as a whole picture, so they can figure out whether there are these really a bad design or not and try to improve one way or another, okay. And the next is percentage of products that fail soon after delivery, okay. So conformance quality, right? Conformance quality, do they really last over the periods that it designs for or not, okay. And average delivery delays, and this talking about time, right? Average delivery delays, okay. You promised to deliver products to me in 2 days, but at the end of the day it took you 7 days to get your products to my door, okay. It is not acceptable, all right. It's not acceptable. Time is also a competitive strategies or resources, right? You want to use time more efficiently, okay. Customers doesn't have that much patience. You cannot give me the products by the time I need. I'll switch to other products, okay, other companies. And then it's on-time delivery rate, which tie back to this point, okay. Do we really deliver our products on time? Most likely, okay, or is most of the case, or just random luck, okay. So all these things will affect the customer satisfaction and eventually will affect our profitability, okay, and also it will affect the quality of the products, okay. And third is internal business process perspective, and here we're going to use 3 different charts, okay. First is control charts. Second is Pareto diagrams, and third is cause and effect diagrams. Okay, we're gonna look at these 3 charts individually. Okay, first one is control charts. What is control charts? Basically, the control charts is based off on statistical analysis knowledge or skills. Okay, so that is statistical quality control. It's a formal means of distinguishing between random and non-random variations in the operating process. Okay, it is also called a statistical process control, SPC. Okay, random variations occur, for example, when chance fluctuations in the speed of equipment cause defective units to be produced. Non-random variations occur when defective products are produced as a result of systematic problems such as an incorrect speed setting, a flawed part design, or mishandling of a component part. Okay, so what is random variation and what is non-random variation? Okay, so basically you see these dots right here, right? So it's kind of like these are the defective units. These are the defective units produced along the way, okay, for different products. If you can see it easily, it is production line A, so probably for product A, and it's product B, and it's product C, okay. And all these dots are the defective units produced through their product lines, okay, through their product lines. And what's this kind of serves like if you have taken statistical analysis courses, it's kind of like the error term in the regression equations, okay, the error term, okay, the error term in the linear regression we have y equals a naught plus a1 and x1 plus a2 x2 plus an error term, right? Error term is include everything that's noise, okay, random noise. And if your random noise is in acceptance range, that means it's random, really random variations. It's just out of control, okay. It happens in nature, okay. If it's out of the range, and I know statistically speaking that has to follow the normal distribution, okay, but it's not exactly the same, but it's similar to that. It has to follow in a range here, the defective units, okay. So if they fall out that acceptable range, they'll become non-random variations. Remember when we talk about spoilage and scraps, we have something called normal. We have something called normal. What happens with my pen? Okay. we have something called normal spoilage, and we have something called abnormal spoilage. Okay, normal spoilage basically is the spoilage generated through the manufacturing process, and it's due to nature factors. It is out of our control, right? We cannot really control that. We cannot reduce normal spoilage down to 0, right? However, abnormal spoilage is something happened is result of human errors, okay? Human errors, which is the control of our management, okay? Efforts, okay? Management efforts, okay? So now back to here, random variations and non-random variations. Random variations is kind of like normal spoilage, okay? It is the result of nature, and the non-random variations is the abnormal spoilage, which is the result of human errors, which we can control. Okay, which we can control. All right. So here the chart, the control charts are a graph of a series of successive observations of a particular step, procedure, or operation taken at regular intervals of time. Okay, so during this interval of time, period of time, okay, could be 1 day, could be 1 week, could be 10 days, could be a month, could be a year. Okay, and each observation is plotted related to specified ranges that represent the limits within which observations are expected to fall, which is this range. Okay, this range, and here is the upper limit, here is the lower limit. Okay, and only those observations that fall outside of control limits are regarded as non-random and worth investigating. Okay, worth investigating. Okay, so look at this chart. Okay, we have a different range here, but normally it is the upper range, it is the lower range. As long as your defective units fit in this range, that are considered normal variations, which is, you know, just a pure random defective units. Okay, we don't really need to take investigations on that, because it's, even though we spent like a whole year to investigate that, it is still not going to be avoided. Okay, it's still not be avoidable. And here for product B that we see, this is the range, and we have 2 units of the chart. Okay, of the chart, well, of the range. Okay, then these 2 units are from the they are non-random variations. They are abnormal defects, so they really are worth the investigation. Okay, and product C, all of these defective units are in the relevant range, or in the acceptable range, means they are random variations, doesn't need any further investigations. So does that make sense? Okay, so this is control chart. It helps us to see if our defects are random or non-random. Okay, random, just, you know, it just happens everywhere. Non-random is human errors. We can control, we can fix it. Okay. Alright, so Pareto diagrams here. Pareto diagram, a chart that indicates how frequently each type of defect occurs, ordered from the most frequent to the least frequent. You see here, there's the number of times and the frequency. Okay, the most frequent type of errors, all the way to the least frequent type of errors, okay, defects. And observations outside control limits serve as inputs for Pareto diagram. Okay, and we have a limits, we have a standard to see if it's beyond the standards, and what's the time to investigate that specific type of defect. Otherwise, no, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's still kind of like a random variations. Okay. And the third one is cause and effect diagrams. Okay, and here the problems identified by the Pareto diagram are analyzed using cause and effect diagram. And so those type of defects we put into this chart and identify potential causal relationship between activities and the defects. okay, and the defects. What are probably the potential causes of for those defects? Okay, so because it is really looking similar, seems like the fishbone, so we call it the fishbone structure. Okay, fishbone structure. Okay, and there are 4 categories: human factor, methods and design factor, machine related factor, and materials and components factor. And these are the 4 general types of categories. Okay, and for each one, what are probably the human factors? Here we have poor training and new operators, inadequate supervision. Okay, and these poor human factors could result in the low quality or defect units, and also they can be causally affect the flaw design and incorrect manufacturing process. That's going to the methods and design factors, and both of these working together to contribute to defect units, right? And here, down here, machine related factors: do we have a poor maintenance? Do we have a poor quality parts, or incorrect speed of manufacturing, or incorrect measurement tools? Okay, and all these can eventually result in the defects, or it could use more materials or components, or just the low quality of materials and mishandling of parts, incorrect parts put into the manufacturing process, and these eventually also will create defect units. Okay. So this is the part. This is the chart that help us to see the causal relationship between any 2 of those components, factors that can eventually result in defect units. Okay. So, and here is 6 sigma quality. So let me read this to you. And so these are the we're following these, and then eventually we'll reach the goals. The goals is to increase the quality of our product to satisfy customers' needs, and to increase financial measures, and that is profitability at the end of the day, right? And 6 sigma quality, okay, the ultimate goal of quality program is to achieve 6 sigma quality. Okay, hold on that. I'm gonna talk about what the 6 sigma quality is. And the mean defect rate and the standard deviations are both very small. Okay, who are using 6 sigma quality measures, and they can manage down to a very small defect, a mean defective rate, and also a very small standard deviations. Okay, and companies using techniques such as control parts, these 2, and in fact to implement 6 sigma. Okay, 6 sigma, and it's eventually it's invented by a Motorola company, and it is licensed by Motorola. Okay, so what is 6 sigma? Okay, go back to the control charts. Okay, go back to the control charts. Go back to the control charts. All right, so again, we are now at the control charts, and let me see if we can clear that. Erase, okay, erase. All right, so now we are looking at this chart again. Okay, let me use some other okay, so you see here, that is the average, the mean of defective units or defective rates, and the standard deviation is this sigma, right? Is this a sigma? Okay, this is the standard deviation away from mean, and also this is 1 deviation standard deviation away from the mean, and here is this 2 standard deviation from the mean. And from statistics, we actually have 3. Okay, we actually have 3, and here it's mean and plus 3 sigma. Okay, here is mu minus 3 sigma, and this range, in general, this range is the acceptable range for random variations. Okay, if those random units are falling to this Six Sigma range, centered on the average. That means those are random variations. They are not non-random. They doesn't waste the time to take investigations to look at it. Okay, otherwise that will be worth the investigation. That makes sense. So that is Six Sigma. Okay, just a distance from the average. From statistical perspective. All right. Okay, now financial measures of internal business process quality. So here, internal business, we're focusing on these 4 things, and it's very intuitive to understand. Percentage of defective products manufactured, percentage of reworked products, number of different type of defects analyzed using control, and these 3 different charts, and number of design and process change made to improve design quality or reduce the cost of quality. So when it comes to these 4 measurements, our goal is to reduce all these numbers, right? Reduce all these numbers. The higher the percentage is, the lower the quality is for our products. If we can reduce all these these indicators, then we are providing a high quality of products. That makes sense? And the learning and growth perspective for quality. Okay, experience and qualification of design engineering. That is example from our textbook, but basically is experience and qualification of employees. Okay, experience and qualifications of employees. We want to hire high quality employees with more experience that can contribute to our company, right? To put their hands on making the products. And the employees training also, we want to give them enough training to be familiar with the process. And also the employee turnover ratio. If our employee turnover ratio is so high, let's say it's 80%, okay, 80% per day, that means we have no control over our quality at all. Why is that? Because your 80% of your employees will be filled by new guys every single day who doesn't have experience, who doesn't have knowledge of your business operations, of your products at all, which means they have to spend a lot of time to learn about the company's products, and then they're able to manufacturing satisfied or appropriate products, right? And employees empowerment. Okay, that means, do employees have enough power to make their own decisions on the parts they are responsible for? Do they need to report to or ask permissions from their employers every single time they need to move or to take some activities or to take some actions? Okay, you want to assign some authorizations, power, and rights, responsibilities down to the frontline workers, so they have more, because they have more experience, more knowledge on the front line, on the machineries, on the process, so they have better judgments on what they need to do to improve the efficiency, right? And last one is employee satisfaction. Okay, all these things, probably these 3, okay, the middle 3, all these things will not be happening if we don't have satisfied employees. Okay, if our employees are not satisfied at all, and we are going to have a higher turnover ratio, and our employee training will be low efficient. Our employee have, even though they have higher rights or more rights or higher responsibilities, they will use that to sabotage the company, not really to improve proficiency of the business, right? So we have to have a higher employee satisfaction level as well. Okay, so all these things will contribute to the high quality of materials. Does that make sense? All right, so let's move on. So weighting the cost and the benefits of improving quality. Okay, so when we are improving quality, we are not only providing one alternative or one plan to improve our quality. We have come up with several different plans and see which one works better than the others, and so to speak. Okay, so one way to judge if this action is more efficient or not is using a cost-benefit analysis. We compare the incremental benefits with the incremental costs of that specific plan with other plans. Okay, so actually that means we are prioritizing all these alternatives based off the net benefit of each alternatives. Okay, Okay, the one with the highest net benefit will be the very first one that we'll think of implementing into improving quality. Okay, so advantage of cost of quality measures, the financial measures. Okay, it can focus management attention on how poor quality affects operating income. Okay, so even though it's not a direct causal relation, but you're starting to see that your income, revenues, net earnings are being dampened. Okay, still reducing and downwarding, then that's going to be a problem. And total cost of quality help managers evaluate the cost and benefit of incurring prevention and appraisal costs to eliminate internal and external failure costs. Okay, if we are invest the high cost in a prevention process and appraisal process, then theoretically and logically we're gonna have a lower cost in internal failures and external failures, right? We have control all these process up front, and hopefully they will not still produce as much failures as it was before. Okay. And cost of quality measures assist in problem solving by comparing cost and benefits different quality improvement programs and by setting priorities for each reduction. It's just the cost benefit analysis, right? And advantage of non-financial cost of quality measures. So advantage of non-financial measures is very intuitive. Okay, it's very intuitive. It's very easy to understand. The number of defective units, the percentage of delayed deliveries, the number of unsatisfied customers, the number of unsatisfied employees, and the percentage of turnover, and so to speak, employees turnover, so to speak. All these are very intuitive. Okay, if you see a low number on that, the problem with that is just I'll find a solution to fix those problems. Okay, and to change direction. Okay, to increase those measures. Okay, and non-financial measures direct attention to physical process that help managers identify the precise problem areas that need to improve. Right. And non-financial measures provide immediate short-term feedback on whether quality improvement efforts are succeeding. Okay, so it's very direct results. Okay, so for example, if we have a higher rate of defective units, then we just increase manufacturing process, improve manufacturing process, or using more quality, high quality of materials, then we're gonna starting to see those defective units decreasing, right? It's very straightforward feedback and it's very quick feedback. Okay. And non-financial measures are useful indicators of further long-term performance. And at the end of the day, all these non-financial measures, those physical measures, will turn into good quality of products or products with high quality, and eventually will satisfy the customers on the market, and which again much larger market size, increase our revenues, and will increase our profitability, right? So they will have a long-term financial performance. Okay, so now these non-financial and financial measures are related. Okay, so next thing is time. Okay, quality is one thing. The other thing is time. Okay, time is a competitive tools. Okay, time is priceless and it's one of the resources that everybody has, but not everybody know how to use efficiently or effectively. Okay, and companies view time as a driver of strategies. So now we are looking at time-based strategies and time-based process. Okay, and managers needs to measure time properly to manage it. Okay, so here's the thing. If you are looking at if you're looking at a manager's performance or company's performance, you have to come up with some devices or tools to measure that. Otherwise, you are not able to control it. You don't even know what that is, how we are able to control it or manage it, right? So we have to measure it properly before we can manage it, all right? So 2 operational measures of time. Here is the customer response time and on-time performance. Customer response time is how quickly companies respond to customers' demands for their products and services. On-time performance indicates how reliably companies meet their scheduled delivery dates. Okay, and managers also measure the cause and cost of delays. What really cost the delay of deliveries or delay of productions, and what is the cost of that? Okay, and to do some analysis to improve the performance. So what is customer response time? Okay, customer response time. So basically, theoretically or mathematically speaking, customer response time is the time start from customer placed order with our company all the way to the time the customer received our products. This is customer response time. Okay, and customer response time, it includes receipt time, where we from customer placed order to we actually order received by manufacturing plant. Okay, customer placed order. Okay, and when the manufacturing plant received the order. Okay, and when the manufacturing plant received the order, they are starting to make this product to the customer, right? So before we can do that, we have to start up the machine, and there's a warm up time. So to put the machine in its manufacturing stage, okay, or status. Okay, and this is called waiting time. Okay, it's called waiting time. And once the machineries are fully started, okay, and from that point of time all the way to the products are fully finished, this is manufacturing time. Okay, and both waiting time plus manufacturing time, it is a manufacturing cycle time. Okay, how much time it takes to manufacturing these products. Okay, in general. Okay, it's a broader manufacturing time concept. Okay, it's a manufacturing cycle. Okay, from the day that the plant received order all the way to the time that they finish the products is the manufacturing cycle time. And then from this finished time all the way to customer receive the product is delivery time. Okay, delivery time. And for any business, it doesn't matter if it's service companies or it's manufacturing companies or retailers companies. Okay, so we want to reduce this customer response time as much as possible. We want to increase our time efficiencies from received order from customers all the way to deliver the products to customers, right? So the faster we can deliver these products, the more we can sell. Okay, and the higher satisfaction the customers are with our products or with our services and with our companies, and the more likely we're going to keep our customers, right? And here for this specific thing, waiting time. Okay, waiting time. There is a formula to calculate the waiting time in the textbook. I didn't put that in onto this in our slides. So if anytime you run into the question that asks you to calculate the waiting time, go back to your textbook to locate that equation, okay, in chapter 19. All right, you're gonna find that equation, okay? Follow that equation, you'll easily to solve the problem, all right? So now here we're trying to reduce any one of these components in the customer response time to increase our time efficiency, all right? So time drivers, what are the factors that affect the times, okay, affect the speed of an activity, okay, speed of delivery, speed of manufacturing, or speed of receiving the customer orders, okay? There are two factors. First is the uncertainty. We don't know for sure when our customers will come in to place the order. We don't know for sure when our customers need the service, right? So we want to reduce this uncertainty by prediction, okay? By predicting, okay? We're gonna predict when customers more than likely will need these products, when our customer more than likely will need this service. For example, accounting firms. What is the busy season for accounting firms? January all the way to April or maybe May, okay? The first several months of the year is busy season, so they can predict, even though I'm not sure whether we're gonna have a very huge amount of customers coming in this year, but we can predict in general what is the busy season for us. Then we are starting to pile up our products or our labors, okay, our hands, and ready for providing services or making products, right? So we want to reduce our uncertainty. Second is bottlenecks due to limited capacity. Okay, a bottleneck, which is the process in the business operations that hold off your efficiency, hold off your productivity, right? So this also reduce our time efficiency. Okay, so we want to expand this narrow this bottleneck, or we want to increase the efficiency during this stage. Okay, so those are the two drivers that affect time efficiency. All right, so relevant revenues and cost of delays. Manufacturing cycle time affects both revenues and costs. What does it mean? Manufacturing cycle time, that includes waiting time and manufacturing time, right? It not only influence our revenues but also our cost. Why is that? Okay, so if this cycle, if this period lasts forever, okay, we are not able to sell anything to our customer, right? We will not generate any revenues. That is the extreme example, okay? That is the extreme example, okay? And so if it takes you longer time to produce products, customers again don't have that patience to wait for your products. They can simply turn to some other products which can offer quickly, okay? Can offer faster. Okay, and the cost is, if we're creating all these things, the more time we spend, the more cost we're gonna incur. For one thing, for example, is labor costs, right? If you spend more time on making products, you're gonna pay more labor wages. Okay, you're gonna pay more wages to the frontline workers, right? And also, if you're piling up with those products, you have also inventory carrying costs. Okay, inventory carrying costs. Because if you're really slow in the manufacturing process, one thing to reduce delays is to produce more upfront, which really can incur a lot of inventory carrying costs. The storage cost, the security expenses, insurance expenses, all these kind of stuff, right? And it's obsolescence, okay, those things, all right? So damage, stolen products, okay. So those are the relevant revenues and delay of costs. Simply speaking, or specific speaking, is from the delay within the manufacturing cycle time. Okay, we want to shorten this. We want to shorten this time and to increase the efficiency. All right. So balanced scorecard and time-based measures. Okay, managers also use both financial and non-financial measures to manage the performance of their firms along the time dimension. Okay, so what does that mean, right? So first, the financial measures. Let's look at this: revenue gains or price increase from fewer delays. Okay, if we can provide the product faster than any other companies. So the statistically speaking, customers are willing to pay a premium cost to receive their products faster. Okay, that is not a story. Okay, it is the fact. It's a fact. Okay, so if you can invest in some techniques or softwares that increase your inspections process or increase your manufacturing efficiency, then you can provide your products at a faster speed, then you can gain more revenues. Okay, and carrying cost of inventory will reduce. If you can produce your products at a very fast speed, there's no need for you to pile up your inventories up front, right? At least you don't have to pile up millions of products up front, right? Which will reduce your inventory carrying costs. Okay. And customer satisfaction, customers measures, okay, customer response time and on-time performance. If you're a customer buying something from Amazon and promise you 2 days delivery to your door and took like a month or probably a year, it happens to me one time, but it's not Amazon, it's from USPS, okay, and it's usually took a week or 14 days at most, but it took like a year for them to get the product to me. Okay, do I happy? No. I'm not happy at all. Okay, I'm not happy at all. Right? I'm gonna use that. I'm gonna use more USPS services or not? No. Okay. Except it's letters, right? And internal business process matters. Average manufacturing time for key products and manufacturing cycle efficiency for key process and defective units produced at bottleneck operations, and average reduction in setup time and processing time at bottlenecks. Basically here, internal business process, we are really want to increase efficiency. What is efficiency? Use time more effectively. With less time, we can produce more product, right? And the learning and growth measures here: employee satisfaction, number of employees trained in managing bottleneck operations. Wait a minute, professor. These two, how come these two are come even closer with time-based measures, right? How these two can even come closer to time-based measures. But think of this: if your employees are not satisfied again, these doesn't matter how many times, the number of times you provide trainings to those employees, it's gonna be very effective in terms of their learning process. Are they gonna be very fully engaged, or they just kill time in the training session? Like probably some of you now sitting on your laptops and watching me blah 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 and looking at somebody else or playing with your phone, right? So you're not going to be very satisfied, then you're not going to be very engaged in those trainings. If you're not really having a high results from better results in the training, and any of these probably will not happening, right? Will not be happening. If these things will not be happening, are they going to be happy or not, these customers? Of course not. They will switch to other companies, to your competitors, will shrink your market size, will decrease your profits and revenues in the future, right? Right? So these also are critical in terms of time-based measures. Does that make sense? All right. So now this is the whole chapter about balance scorecard, quality, and time. And basically in this chapter we're talking about two things that using balance scorecard framework: quality and time, and how to improve efficiency and how to improve qualities based off on these things, right? Basically, we're trying to source it back to this original cause and solve the problems from financial perspective and from non-financial perspective, right? And chapter 12 also we're using balance scorecard, but it's looking at some other perspective, right? So you have to be able to understand that. And I know that these two chapters, or even the chapter 15 or 14, is kind of like hitting on here and there. Is not very consistent, and there's no logic flow within this, but you're starting to get an idea that cost accounting is not only about calculating numbers and calculating costs, right? Because those things are really the entry-level job of cost accounting, right? But at the end of the day, we are using all this information, this cost information, and all this non-financial financial information help us to make strategies, to improve our quality, to implement our strategies, right? So in this course, I'm not focusing really on the cost calculation or computational calculation part, because those are really easy. You are the smartest students I ever have, so I'm very confident in you to understand the math process, right? So you can do it on your own. Okay, it's no problem. But the problem here now is you need to understand that those things. Where do we use those things? Where do we use those numbers for? What purpose? It help us to solve what problem? Okay, so this is the point. We are kind of switching from the first half of this class, where we're talking about a lot of different costs, the categories, and different type of costing structures, and then cost allocation process, all so to speak, all these things. And now we are shifting to some really to the managerial perspective, how we use those set of information to make decisions. Okay, to make decisions. And this is very critical, because one day when you come to a practitioner in a business, you have all these similar informations. How you use these informations is more important than how you calculate this information, because all the time you're gonna have someone to help you to calculate these numbers, or even you can hire somebody to do this for you, or the worst case scenario, you can do it by yourself, but easily you can pinpoint to those equations, right? But the most important part is, how are we going to use this information? Okay, so that is very, very critical part about cost accounting or managerial accounting, because those are the critical information of a business, and those are the key part for business succeed. All right, so this is a balance scorecard, and this week we don't have case analysis, but we're gonna have a case analysis next week, and after that we're gonna do our last chapter, which is on compensation, performance measurements, and international corporations or multinational corporations, whatever. Okay, so the very important part is compensation and performance evaluation. All right, so that by the time, and we're gonna still use balance scorecard one way or another. All right, so balance scorecard is a very widely used common skills techniques in companies nowadays, right? So make sure you understand these 4 parts and where we can use these 4 parts in the business. All right, so if you have any questions, please shoot me an email or come to see me during my visual office hours on Tuesday and Thursday. And otherwise, I will see you next week in another video. All right, and don't forget to start on your final projects, and most of the projects you can work on now. And we're gonna post more information this week about your final projects. Okay, probably just about your requirements for your final reports. Okay, so not very complicated, and some of your cases need more actual supplementary data sheet. Okay, all right, so let me know if you have any questions. Okay, have a good one. Bye bye.